What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Elementary Season 5, Episode 10, Pick Your Poison. This is another one of the shows on my catch-up list, and this was a fairly decent episode. I've been kind of disappointed with Elementary so far this season, and part of that has to do with the whole Shinwell storyline. We finally see where it's all kind of been building up to, I think. I feel like. I could be wrong, but I think the whole point of introducing him is so that now we know they've got an informant on the streets. The problem I have with this is that you look at the past 4 seasons, all of the storylines that they've had overarching this season have been very good, intense, meaningful storylines. I mean, the first season it was Moriarty, the second season it was his brother, Sherlock's brother, the third season it was bit of Moriarty, bit of this woman who I guess wanted to kill Joan because of something Joan did at the beginning of the season. Don't really remember season 3 very well, but it had a interesting storyline going on, and then ultimately it ended with Sherlock relapsing. That was the big shock twist at the end. And the 4th season was all about Sherlock's dad, and that was very interesting. This one has just been about Shinwell, and that's it. And it's just, I don't really care about Shinwell that much. I don't really care about the connection he has with them, and now he wants to go back as an informant. I don't care about that. But finally, at the end of all of this, Sherlock's finally like, okay, if you want to do this, let me train you, and in return, you have to be our informant on the streets. That's it. I feel like that's everything that this is building up towards, so okay, I hope that's the end of it. I hope he just pops up every now and then as an informant. I hope I don't have to. This seems like the mid-season finale. It was a few weeks ago that this episode aired, and there hasn't been another episode for a few weeks, and I don't think there will be for another couple weeks. So hopefully the second half of the season, something's going to happen that's going to make me say, okay, now I'm invested. Now I can get involved in the show. But as it stands, this episode was interesting in the case that was going on throughout the entire episode. You've got Joan is being questioned because apparently her name was used to fill some illegal prescriptions or something like that. And it hasn't been used just once, it's been used several times. So they try to find out who is using her name, and like apparently other doctors' names as well. And so they finally find this woman, and she's dead, as well as another woman inside her office. So now it's like, okay, so who's the murderer? And so they go to one of her patients, who apparently his mom is the one that died. And so they start asking him, do you know what may have happened? Do you know if your mom was involved in this? And he's just like, I don't know. His father, who she divorced him, also is like, I don't know. And so they're trying to find out what could have happened to this doctor. Well, as it turns out, one of the patients involved in this little drug thing, I guess, was also involved with the woman because he tried to carjack this family. And the dad shot him at that point. And the same gun was used in the killing. And so now all of a sudden they start to realize, okay, so maybe it was more about the mother than it was the doctor. And so they start to find out more and more. They start to realize that apparently this mother is actually trying to poison her son to make him sick and make his immune system shut down. And so the whole time that's what she's been doing, just so she can. They didn't really explain her motivations very well. But as it turns out, the kid is the one that killed the mother because apparently the doctor told him that she was probably doing this. And so in a fit of rage, he killed his mom, but also killed the doctor that told him for some reason. Once again, motivation's not explained. And that's about it. I mean, the case started off so interesting, and then just kind of faded into it's about this family. Well, that's not nearly as interesting as it would have been if it had been solely about who stole Joan's identity, who has been using her identity to sell fake drugs. That could have been really interesting. And instead it's just, they find her and she's dead. And it's not even about her. This case is not about Joan. It's not about this doctor. It's all about this mom who's poisoning her son, and then the son kills her and the doctor. Okay. It was almost interesting. It was almost really interesting. And as it is, it's just kind of interesting. And I don't know, I'm really disappointed that they stopped writing really good cases. Like, I remember some of the original Sherlock cases in the first few seasons. Some of them were really good. Some of them really caught my attention and made me go, "Yeah, I love this show. I want to find out more. I want to do more. I want to." No, not anymore. Nowadays, it's just like, "Oh, here's your case. Suspect, suspect, clue, clue. There's your villain." It's so easy. You don't have to try to figure anything out. Sherlock does all the work, and you don't even get to see him doing the work. You just get to see the deductions being made. And that takes all the fun out of being alongside Sherlock Holmes. I love, whenever you watch Sherlock, the BBC version, I love watching that show because you get to see him make the deductions. You get to see what he sees and how he's figuring it out. In the show, it's just so, okay, here's a clue, spouting out information. Here's another clue, spouting out information. And we don't get to experience that. We're just watching it from the outside. They used to let us experience it. We used to be side by side because we were alongside Joan. You know, we were getting to see it from her perspective, and so we get to see her watching Sherlock work. Now she's become so much like Sherlock that it's almost just like we follow Joan, and it's not as interesting. You know, she's obviously a very good detective now, but she's not nearly the detective that Sherlock is, and yet we don't get to see any of that. We just get to hear about most of it. So, maybe this show is just starting to take a downturn because they've run out of ideas. I don't know. I really hope not. I hope they've still got something, because this idea of Sherlock being in modern day New York is still something that can be played with. It's something that you could really... some of the changes they made to his story, like with Moriarty being actually Irene Adler, so many different things they could do with this, and it just feels like they're running out of ideas. So, I don't know. I'm hoping things are going to take a step up soon. I'm hoping things will get better the second half of this season, but if not, it may be the end for Elementary. CBS has several shows on right now. Some of them are still doing really well. Elementary may be one that may be starting to get pushed out the door, so we'll see what happens, but for now, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Elementary reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.